guys, let's get suited up here. Hopefully everything comes out sounding good. I'm using a Purple Panda mic with the DJI Action 4, and this is going to be my first motovlog. And if you couldn't tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about a few things. Some of those things are what it's like going from being a car guy most of your life. I'm still a car guy, obviously. You see track stuff. We still have the Fiesta, got the Explorer ST still, and obviously got the Ranger. We're not giving that stuff up, but if you couldn't tell from the last video, I did have a Grom, and then I bought another Grom, a 300 swap Grom, and then Julie has the R3, and then I ended up picking up this Yamaha FZ6R. It's a 600cc inline 4. It's a little heavier than most other 600cc bikes, but it sounds great, rides great, smooth, and overall, it's a great bike for me to learn on and continue to hone my skills in. So yeah, let's get on the road and talk about a few things. Alright guys, it is a beautiful start to the weekend, and I wanted to get a video of my first motovlog ever. I'm going to try not to die on this video just because I like to talk with my hands, so that's going to be kind of difficult to do. This is kind of what I would consider a big bike. I'm not on a Grom. I do miss a Grom. It was one of the bikes that I had two Groms. I started out with a fairly stock 125, did a couple bolt-ons, and then moved to the 300 swap Grom, which, oh my god, there's a vulture. There's a vulture in the road. Holy shit, that thing is huge. It's like a turkey. Either way, went to a 300 swap Grom that I picked up and really liked it. It was very sketchy in some ways compared to like a big bike. And then it taught me a lot though. It taught me brake control. I had to brake pretty hard a few times on that, and there's no ABS on that bike. Unfortunately, there's no ABS on this bike either, so you have to be very careful on how hard you grab that front brake, because unlike with cars, when you hit the brake pedal, unlike with a car, when you hit the brake pedal, it activates all four brakes, front and rear, and most modern vehicles have ABS equipped. It's usually like the 90s vehicles that don't. So when it comes to sketchiness and safety controls, this bike has less. It's a 2014 FZ6R, and it has less safety compared to other bikes on the market right now. Now, this bike has a full header back exhaust from Two Brothers. It has a quick shifter, as you can tell. I don't have to clutch in to shift, and it has a DynoJet Power Commander 5 with an auto-tune function, so it gives me a little bit more power than a stock FZ6. Now, one of the big things that I noticed going from being a car guy for so long, and I have track experience in cars with multiple vehicles. I've had vehicles that have ranged from like 150 horsepower all the way up to close to 1,000, you know, right around 857 wheel. Big power V8s, superchargers, a lot of those different things. And I gotta say, I've never ridden dirt bikes or anything like that. I started out, you know, my two-wheel obsession with scooters, hyper scooters, you know, fast scooters, 50, 60 mile an hour scooters. Those were a lot of fun, and I still have a scooter, but I don't ride it as much, obviously, as the motorcycle. Now, as a car guy, if you have that experience and you're moving into the motorcycle world, I gotta say it's a totally different experience. Being outside of a car, right? You have the protection of 4 doors or 2 doors. You know, you have a roof if you don't have a convertible, right? It's very close to like riding in a convertible. You know, the first time you go out on a public road in a motorcycle, it is very it's very jarring. just because of how exposed you feel. And I'll be honest with you, the first week I took the motorcycle, the Grom, out on a public road, it was very, I almost quit. Like, I really did almost quit, and it was almost like a shell shock. Like, it was so much to kind of handle and deal with, just because you don't feel safe at first. And I don't think you ever feel safe. You should never feel safe on a motorcycle, just because a lot of people do tell you, you know, when you're riding a motorcycle, pretend that everyone's out to kill you, you know, watch every vehicle in traffic. And that's completely true. The first couple weeks I rode, you know, you kind of have to be aware of being in people's blind spots. You're not as big as a car, right? So you have to almost pretend that you're invisible. So, you know, like when I'm in a car and, you know, if I'm riding like this, like I'm coming up to this intersection, I want to make sure that the guys that white car that could potentially come out, I need to make sure they see me early, right? It's little things like that where I don't think I would care if I was in a car. Like, I just don't think I would. And it gives you a false sense of security when you're in a car. And honestly, I think becoming a motorcycle rider, just even for this short period of time, like, I'm still very new. Like, I'm not a great rider at all. I would obviously never consider myself at this point in time a seasoned rider. Like, that takes years of experience. Just like anybody, you know, with cars, I've been driving cars for over 20 years, and I have track experience. I've got a lot of experience under my belt with cars, and that took a long time, right? You know, you can be naturally talented at something like cars or motorcycles, but it takes time and experience to really, really season and fine-tune. And even that, and like, I don't want to scare anybody from, you know, becoming a motorcycle rider. If you're currently a car guy or you're an off-road guy and you're interested in becoming a rider, I don't want to scare you, but, you know, you have to be okay with some level of risk. Just like with anything you do in life, there's always some level of risk required to take when you step foot outside of your house, right? You know, I was just reading a news article this morning that there was a girl that was just driving in a car and a brake caliper flew through her windshield and killed her, right? You can wake up any day, whether you get on a motorcycle or a car, in a car, drive a truck, you still have a chance of dying from something, right? Now, the risk might be a little bit higher, but it is what it is, right? Like, you know, if you can't live your life in fear, to enjoy the things that you want to enjoy, right? Everybody's different. Everybody has a different level of risk taking. Like before, you know, like that truck that just passed me, it probably would have freaked me out the first time. Now coming up, you know, that truck is blocking that black 4Runner's view, right? Something like that is something that I would look out for whenever I'm riding. So the thing that you don't want to do when you're a new rider, that I've learned, is get too comfortable. You know, moving to a 600 has allowed me to learn a little bit more, ride a little bit better. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting too comfortable, and then that's when I kind of have to check myself and say, hey, you know, bro, you're still fucking new at this. Don't get too cocky. So it's fast. I didn't really want to ride in the city because, one, it's like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't want to ride in traffic in the middle of the day. I sweat my ass off. But yeah, you know, if you're a car guy and you want to become a motorcycle rider, I highly recommend it. Now, the other thing is, a lot of people say, well, you know, what do you recommend for your first bike? And this is a question that comes up a lot. Obviously, I've read a lot of things. I've watched a lot of videos. As a new rider, I really think it depends on the person, like how comfortable you are, right? Now, if you're really cocky and you think you can hop in on a 600 or 1,000, that's completely up to you. Like, you know, that's your decision, it's your money. If it was my suggestion, I would start on like a Ninja 400 or an R3
See if that's what you want to continue. Like, you'll grow out of it maybe, or you'll really enjoy it and you'll say, you know what, I think this is enough. For me, my height and body weight, even a 312 Grom, I didn't feel like it was enough for me. Now, if Julie didn't ride and I was just by myself, I think I probably would have kept it. But my goal when I started riding was go on longer trips, go hit up the mountains, just, you know, do mountain runs in it, learn how to go on the track. And that's not something I think I could have done on my Grom, just because I wanted a bigger bike. My weight is a little bit heavier. I wanted a bigger bike. So I'm super happy with this. The 600 sounds great. It's got a really comfortable riding position. But the thing about when I went to a 600, or even started on motorcycles at all, I had a good grasp of the fundamentals, how manual transmissions work, how clutches work, how ABS works, how, the fundamentals of like driving lines, what you should watch out for. So there's different types of drivers and riders. If you're very new to riding or driving, I would highly recommend taking something like an MSF course, learning the fundamentals that way, and spending a good year getting accustomed to riding out on public roads. If you're in a high traffic area, obviously a 600 or liter bike won't really make as much sense, right? Getting a Grom might be a good starter bike, especially if you're in traffic a lot. But I gotta say, like, the experience of going from car things, track riding, it's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different level of just being an enthusiast. I love the feeling of doing highway pulls in a car. I love the feeling of V8s. I love the feeling of big turbo 4-cylinders. It's just something different, right? Like, it's like ordering the same thing off a menu every single day. You'll eventually kind of get tired. You might get burnt out from it. And the way we modify cars and the way we've done car stuff pretty much all our lives is, every season we do something a little different, right? In the fall, winter, and spring, we'll go camping, and we'll still ride, but I mean, that's when we go camping. We go off-roading. I don't like summer camping. When I got the scooters, I wanted something different. I wanted to be out in the late spring, summertime, just going out for a cruise. It started out as just cruising in the neighborhood, and then eventually I was like, you know what, one of my buddies, Blake, he brought his Tenere. He bought a Yamaha like Tenere, brought it over, and he was the bad influence that ended up starting this whole thing about getting a bike. And I was like, you know what, screw it, let's do it. Sold the Grom, and then decided to get the FZ6R, and we haven't really stopped. But yeah, I mean, I think when you start riding, if you're new to it, there will be times where you'll want to quit, probably, right? Maybe you can't get a handle of the clutch. You can't get a handle of just how everything works. You might stall a lot at the lights, and I got that same frustration. It was even more frustrating for me because I knew how to operate a manual transmission, but I kept stalling on hills and just running into a lot of problems, and it was frustrating for me. But I stuck with it, and the big hurdle is, like, when you're in a car, especially if you've been driving for a while, whether it's track or something else, you kind of do things like you're not even thinking about it, right? When you're shifting gears, or when you're coming to a stop, or when you're on track, you know how to hit an apex, you know how to exit an apex. It's all second nature for you, right? when you start riding a bike, you're like, I don't know any of that stuff. It's not muscle memory. It's all something new. And a lot of us, when you start on something new, it can be frustrating when you don't get it right the first time or the second time, or you're doing it for a month and you still can't get it, you know. I get that, but you got to keep at it, right? And if you keep at it, it'll become muscle memory, and you'll absolutely love doing just like the love of riding a car, taking a car out on a mountain run, taking a car on track. You'll love that, right? You'll end up loving this new thing, right, of riding. And that's why, you know, I'm out here now. I'm not on a straight road. I'm in some twisties. Obviously, I'm not riding very fast because I'm vlogging, right? I don't want to die or hurt myself in the middle of a vlog, even though that would be interesting to see probably. But you know, I'm out here enjoying this nice little ride, and it's different from being in a car. Like, you just see so much more. It's almost like riding in an exo, where you can see the corners, you can see everything around you, you can see, you know, the sky, you know, through your helmet, but it's still just the open air is such an amazing feeling, and that's a feeling that I hope, if you're watching this video and you're not sure if you want to ride a motorcycle for safety reasons, I get that, but I feel like if you don't give it a shot once, you know, give it one try, see if you like it. If you don't like it, you can always sell it. If you go on Marketplace, you can find a lot of great deals on motorcycles. You don't have to ride it in traffic, and this isn't my daily driver. This is something that we have fun during the week, or on the weekend, going for a ride out somewhere. There's a lot of great videos out there for new riders. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is something I think I'm going to do more of. Do me a favor, hit the like button, drop a comment. If you are a rider, drop your experiences below. If you quit, you know, if you decided to quit because, you know, you were scared of traffic or you had a bad experience, drop your feedback below. You know, let other riders know what your experience was. Everybody has a different experience on these things. And yeah, you know, I want to hear it. Like, I want to open up that conversation. You know, I'm sorry I haven't posted many videos in the past 2 months. I've really been kind of busy, kind of self-reflecting, you know, being involved with, you know, the bikes, going to bike nights and other things. But yeah, you know, I'm gonna start doing more of these. I'm going to start getting more content, and hopefully you guys like these sort of thing. And if you did, leave a comment below what you guys think. There were 2 questions on my Instagram from followers, and those questions were, what got you into motorcycles? I think Teddy R had asked that. And the thing that got me into riding was I wanted to try something different. You know, I was experienced in those hyper scooters. I was like, you know what? My buddy brought his Tenere over. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to learn. It's something new that I haven't learned or, you know, experienced or mastered. I want to try something, see if I like it. And that's really the big reason. It wasn't for content. It wasn't for clout or anything. I can't knock something until I try it myself. You know, I think it depends on everybody's situation. You know, if their wives let them or girlfriends let them get a bike, or even your mom or dad. You know, I can tell you there was plenty of times where my mom or dad, if I would have brought up a motorcycle, they would have killed me. I get it, but there comes a time where you kind of have to make your own decisions. So either way, the other question was from Aircooled Corey, and he said, if I was going to pick a classic bike or something else, what would I pick? And yeah, honestly, if I was going to pick a classic bike, I think I would get like an old school CBR. I really liked the old school Gixxers, old school CBRs, like the early 90s. That style, I think, has a really cool vibe. Yeah, if I was going to go old school, that's probably what I pick. Now, as far as car or truck, if I was going to go old school, I really like the Toyota Celica GT4s. I know some people probably wouldn't consider that old school, but I'm thinking more 90s. I'm not thinking 80s and like before. Celica GT4, 3000 GT. That's probably what I would pick as far as like old school cars. Now, old school truck, I don't know. I can't say that I'm a fan of like old school trucks. Maybe like an old F-150 Lightning, not even like the early 2000s ones, but like the box ones or any type of square body truck. I think I would probably daily for sure. But hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I am completely lost. I have no idea where I'm at, so I'm gonna have to stop, check GPS to find my way back home. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, like I said, leave a comment, like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.